Okay. Am I live? Yes, I am live. Greetings, beautiful people. This is the Content Whisperer, Alexandra Mafaw, your content marketing consultant. And I'm here today to pull out some content ideas from someone who decided to volunteer their content. This is going to be really fun. I love this type of work. And usually, what I do for my clients is a part of a snippet of that. I help you answer the most common question: what do I post about? And allowing you to say what you want to say also in your content, so that so that you are able to build an audience that you can serve and sell to. And so let me just tag Amy here, because she's the one that raised her hand and said, hey, you can use my content. So initially I was supposed to pick one piece of content and I picked three. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to go in detail with one of them, and I'm going to go through the two others really quickly, because I did the same thing for a client and in a program, and the video lasted 27 minutes. We're not gonna do that here. So let me share my screen so I can show you what I've been working with. I want to thank you, Amy, for volunteering your content. That's the one. Okay, sharing screen. I want to make sure that everyone can see. Beautiful. Okay, so at first I was like, I'm going to use a long form piece of content. But then Amy's profile, I saw a short piece of content and I read it and I liked it. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to be the main one I'm going to work with. And I'm going to go through the other ones with a little bit more speed. So this is basically it. I wonder if this is big enough. This is basically it. This is the piece of content I'm gonna start with. And so let's get into it. Let's just go into it. So real quickly, I'm sorry, I apologize, Amy, in advance. I didn't look at your title, but I know that you help women when it comes to their health and to their well-being. So I don't know if you call yourself a health coach or if there's a particular title you like to give yourself. But the way I found out about you was basically I saw one of my friends actually posting about the results she had gained from working with you. And I was like, oh, who is this person? And then she told me your name and I started following and reading your content. So I'm familiar with Amy's content, but I did not ask her any detailed information about like her target audience, like her vision for her business. So I'm coming in with the eye of the content whisperer, but also from the position of a consumer, because I do consume her content. And it's good to know what it's like for a consumer to look at your content. What are they receiving from the consumer side? Because a lot of the times, you as the expert, and I'm talking about everybody who's listening here, you're so much in what you know, or you're so used to what you know, that you don't know what it's like to not know that. And so you need to experience the flip side, the reader's perspective, right? So let's get into this content. I'm going to read it. Health is not, so this is what Amy wrote on February 3rd of this year. Health is not what you've been sold. It's infinitely more beautiful than diets and pills and plunges and protocols and labs and hacks and gadgets. It is the depth of connection to yourself and each moment you are living and breathing and all the tiny things around you that you are missing by focusing on health tasks. It's how deeply you know yourself, acknowledge your needs, speak your desires, and build a life of self-tending that provides it all. This is the starting point of health. Now let's break it down. Just going to increase the percentage here. It's 50. The first sentence. Health is not what you've been sold. It's infinitely more beautiful than diets and pills and plunges and protocols and labs and hacks and gadgets. So the way I like to offer content ideas is through questions. And once I get to know someone, their work, their target audience, I get a little bit more precise, but I always come from the point of questions because your content are answers to questions. So the first thing that came to mind is, what have women been sold in regards to their health and how to take care of their health? Now, this is a question I'm asking Amy. Based on what she knows about her target audience, based on her experience with working with women, based on what she has observed in terms of the marketing of, supplements and diets and pills, the overall message that is being provided in the health industry, what are women being sold on from her lens? So I gave an example here, offering an example of a trendy diet and how, this is an example of a piece of content, right? Offering, talking about a trendy diet and how it's being promoted, making people aware about how is this diet being promoted? Now showing the flaws within that promotion and what is not taken in consideration when it comes to women's health or how they want to be in their body or their wellness. Then offering how one should choose a diet or decide on what diet is worth even trying for nourished health and nourished body. Now, those are ideas of a piece of content that can be written, and it doesn't need to be one. It can be several. It can be a series. One piece of content can just talk about the way that health is being promoted and the things that women are absorbing that. Another one can be about the flaws within those promotions and the lies that are being shared and what the truth really is. And it's not about demonizing any of those things. That's why I'm offering after that to advise the women, okay, these things are available to you. They're not bad. There might be ways in which, how it's being promoted is not as sincere, let's say, or the benefits are exaggerated. But here's how you decide if it's actually good for your body, if it's actually good for where you are in your life. How to decide how to apply it. Is it long term? Is it short term? Things like that you want to consider, So these are things that can be spoken about in that piece of content. You see how much I got into just in those two from those two sentences? Now, next thing If I was going to like break down every single thing in even more details, one of them would be another question would be, what are the functions? Oh, that's supposed to be of protocols, and how do they serve a person? How do they serve one's health when they decide to go on a protocol? What purpose do these protocols have? Another idea here is, what are the tones of these messages? Speaking of, health is not what you've been sold. So we're talking about, this is in reference to what is being said in regards to health, right? So the tone of these messages is the messages that are being said, in society. Or if there's a specific arena that, Amy, that you want to address, we could use that here. So what are the tones of these messages, and how do they affect women in their decision concerning their health? What are they speaking to, and why do women go for it? Is the messages they are receiving speaking to a specific desire? That's why I have desire in parentheses here. How does it affect the posture they have towards their own health, or the relationship they have towards health, food, and themselves? Now let's go into the other line. So what's in blue is obviously my comments, and what's in black is Amy's content. It is the depth of connection to yourself in each moment you are living and breathing, and all the tiny things around you that you are missing by focusing on health tasks. I love that phrase, health tasks, because when people think about tasks, they already have some type of experience with that word. There's already a meaning that it evokes in them when they think about tasks. So you already know health task doesn't feel too good. So this is definitely a phrase that I could see you reusing over and over to point. What has she divorced herself from? And what is she feeding instead? So if she's doing health task, there's something she's not doing that would be much more beneficial to her. So what are those things that she is feeding instead? And I'm just, I'm kind of guessing here. Is it disappointment? Is it lack? You tell me. If it's not nourishment, it's something else. Right? So when I ask these questions, whatever is the response is your content. That is your content. Your response is your content. Let's go. You see, this is just how many minutes did we spend? Let me see. Oh, you're here, Amy. I didn't even see. I didn't even see that you were here. Okay, gorgeous. Okay, I like that you love this. This is already 13 minutes, guys. Okay, and this is just from this short piece of content right here that I'm getting all of this. Okay, this is why I posted earlier before coming live that there are multiverses within one sentence. It's like quotes. It's a quote, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper in it. And every piece of content that you create tells me that you have some insight about your audience, because you wouldn't have written those words without having that insight. And what my job, what I'm doing is helping you extract more on that insight and tying it in with the wisdom that you already have within the realm of what you help your clients with and how you serve your target audience through your content. You're taking that notes. Well, the replay will be available for you. Okay, so this last part of her content, she says, it's how deeply you know yourself, acknowledge your needs, speak your desires, and build a life of self-tending that provides it all. This is the starting point of health. Self-tending. Oh my gosh, I consider this word like your part of your brand vocabulary because I've read this on your profile more than once and I love it so much. And that's just a concept of your work, like self-tending. Who talks about self-tending and health in the way that you do? And it is so, I want to say tender. It's so caring, that term. So definitely if it's, you know, I don't know if you already consider it that like really a part of your brand vocabulary. If not, I definitely encourage you to bring that in. Why are you laughing? You have to let me know why you're laughing. um let's talk about self-tending. Yeah. What is it? The simple thing, the basic thing. You wrote on your profile today, I think, bringing something about the basics being the OG of health. So we understand here the value of your fundamentals here. People might not, your ladies might not know what self-tending is actually, and self-tending in Amy's world, right? What is that? What does that look like? Can you provide us with some example of what self-tending is? Is it, is it choosing A instead of B? Is it how you choose? Is it how you decide? Is it what you decide? I love the replay. So it would be nice to have a couple if you haven't already. And of course, we talked about repetition. So maybe you've done this a long time ago. It's good to bring it back if you haven't really like just explain to your audience what self-tending actually is. And a show and tell and a description of how that feels like and what it can look like and what the result of that can be. Is it my last part? Yeah. The last part is when you talk about acknowledging your needs. Now, I didn't break it down here because I could have talked about like on speaking your desires and build a life on self-tending, but I just chose one aspect of this sentence. So, do your ladies know how to recognize their needs? If so, if not, then a piece of content would be about recognizing your needs. But if so, maybe it's about the choices they make in fulfilling those needs that need some refinement and some tweaking. How do they make choices? They're self-aware of what their needs are. They might be very clear, but the refinement part is in how they choose. And the criteria and the lens in which they make those choices. Where do they get tripped up when it comes to that? Hey, let me see. How many minutes are we in? We're in 19 minutes. Okay. So this is the first part. You have plenty you can work with here. So I'm going to like speed through the other 3 pieces of content. So you wrote one on February 1st about intermittent fasting and cold plunges. Let me just read the first part. When intermittent fasting and cold plunges and 5 a.m. HIIT trainings are leaving you feeling chaotic, constipated, and crashing when you used to feel euphoric, energetic, and ecstatic. Now that part here where you say, I hate to break it to you, but you can't go back in time and grab the diet, the supplements, the workout routine, and expect the same outcome today. Not because you are the problem. Okay? That tells me that the women in your audience or the clients have some idea that they might be the problem to what is going on with them or why they're not having the quality of health or the body that they desire, right? And so my question to you then is, from what place are your ladies usually desiring to improve their health? What is their reason why to that? What is the mindset are they the mindset from which they are wanting to improve themselves? Do they think they're not enough? I'm just, these are just examples. Maybe they don't know anything else, so they're going back to what they're used to. And you address that in one aspect, about when you say that, back in the 5 years from now, you're not the same person. You're not living in the same circumstances that you used to. And maybe they might be aware of that, but they're so used into the habit, the pattern of what worked. They're like, oh, I just, they're not, they take it kind of like, I just need to do this little changes, but I'm going to keep on doing the same thing, but this just little tweaks. Maybe they're taking it too lightly or something. Okay, I think I'm going to start 30 minutes, guys. We're at 22. Okay. Hey, Leilani! So because you're trying to do the same thing under changed circumstances. Now, how does those circumstances affect their health, well-being, and for what kind of woman? So when I say that, is that are they aware of the impact of their environment and how that can be the reason for why they don't have the quality of health that they're looking for. They don't have the body that they're looking for, but they're so focused on the workout and how many times a week they should be doing that when that's not their focus. And when I say from what type or kind of woman, it's putting context into if you have seen patterns within your past clients or amongst your target audience of, hey, they're in these circumstances in their life or they're in that age group and they keep doing this and it's not working for them, but you're seeing that it's a pattern that they just keep doing, that is something that you can bring into your content. Okay, so let's scroll through, blah, blah, blah. Now let's get into the next piece of content on February 11th, where you talk about desire here. I really love that. I read a comment on a post about not settling and owning that your desires are not an inconvenience. And I saw myself in her comment, many of you may too, how we dismiss our desires and settle for less than so we don't appear needy, high maintenance, bitchy, or over the top. Now, reading this, I'm thinking, oh man, this might be a theme. Is this a theme for her clients, for the women in her target audience? Desires, needs, Your target audience might have some walk in that when it comes to defining it. The importance of defining your desires and how that's the first step into having the quality of health that you want, the experience of health that you want. Do they dare speak it? Do they dare own it? Have they forgotten about it? Have they given it up and went into another direction because they thought it would work, but it's not exactly towards what they most want? Do they have a larger appetite for the extraordinary or for what's the best of the best, different from people around them? But they shrink that desire because of the people around them. Who are these women? And so it would be great content to speak about who are these women? What do you know about them? What do you know about what they actually desire for themselves? Let me see. 25 minutes in. Oh, okay. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here, everyone. We're going to stop sharing because I don't want it to go over 30 minutes. So this is just a snippet of part of what I do in the my breakthrough sessions, my content breakthrough sessions, which are really meant to tune you into your voice, what you really want to say, explore your ideas, and get your next step mapped out so that you can enhance, amplify your social media presence with potent content, with content that comes from your word, which is really your core message. And so I invite you, if you're interested in such a session, that you reach out to me and I will provide you with the details. I hope this has been helpful for you, Amy. I know you commented that you're like taking notes. Do revisit it. And for those of you who watched it, who enjoyed it, and who would like me to do something like that for them, definitely reach out to me regarding the content breakthrough session, and we will discuss in the DMs. Toodles. I have to figure out how to end this live now. I'm not used to doing Zoom. I just do it like this.